What's up, everybody? Yesterday we did lesson 27. I realized something very important, though. I never go back and show you this work if you were online, and then by the time we get to in person, we just kind of forget about it. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I am going to start doing the problem sets, or at least two of the problem set problems, on the video for the next day. That way you can see them and then check your answers to see if you were right. So here we go, lesson 27. Mr. Yoshi, you know that guy from Mario, the dinosaur looking guy? Mr. Yoshi has 75 papers. He graded 60 of those papers, and he had a student grade the rest. What percent did each person grade? So we're talking about 75 papers, okay? And that is equal to what? That's the total. So total is 100%. That's why I love percents. They're just so complete. It's 100%. Okay, now my man here graded 60. Yoshi graded 60. We don't know what percent that is. And his teaching partner, or student graded 15 of those. We don't know what percent that is either. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 75 down until we get to a number that we can work with. Usually 10 or 20. In this case, 10 or 20 is not going to work. We're going to have to go to something a little smaller, like 5. So I know I can get to 5%, or to 5 papers. So let's just mark it up with some other colors. How do I get from 75 down to 5? Well, I'm scaling down, so I'm going to divide, and then I'm going to divide by something. I can count by 5s in my fingers and figure out how many, or I can just do it backwards and go 75 divided by 5, and that would equal 15. So now I'm going to be able to divide it by 15. So divided by 15, all I got to do is take this down by the same scale, and that would be 15. And then if I do that on a calculator, 100 divided by 15 is 6%. Now that was not very effective, because it's actually 6.666%. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this. I think that was a bad choice. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of that. That was silly of me. What we're going to do is we're actually going to mark it down by the percent and figure out how many that would be, okay? Because it turned out to be a decimal percent, and decimal percents don't really work out. See, it's trial and error, guys. Sometimes we make mistakes. Let's go ahead and cut this in half. Let's say we want to know what 50% was. So that would be half of 75, and that ends up being 30. Well, let's just do it on a calculator. 75 divided by 2 is 37.5 papers. So Mr. Yoshi did more than that. So Mr. Yoshi did more than 50%. Okay. What I can actually do is take this down to 10%. And that's going to also be a decimal because they gave me 75. But then we can just kind of make sure we figure it out from there. So take off the decimal place here, would add a decimal place there. So that's 7.5 papers. So 10% is 7.5 papers. I want to get rid of that decimal. And then we can multiply that up by 6. Or we can multiply this till we get to, so 7.5. From here to here. I know 7.5 is actually half of 15, so times 2. So he did 20. And if that's true, if he did 20%, then these would make up 100% of it, right? So if he did 20, what's the rest? It's 80%. Now that was a little complicated, and I completely understand that, but I guess if you got the answer 80 and 20, you are good to go. All right, more paper problems here. Mrs. Bennett graded 20% of her 150 students' papers. How many papers does she still need to finish grading? So she has 150 papers total, which is equal to 100%. Now, this one's much easier because it's working with a number we can easily get to. She did 20% of it. So how many papers did she grade? And then the real question was, how many does she have left? Well, how do you get from 100 down to 20? you just divide by 5. So divide this also by 5. We're scaling down. And that should equal 30. So now she's graded 30. That lady still has 120 left. 120 left to grade, which is quite a bit of papers, Mrs. Bennett. Maybe don't do that all in one sitting. All right, guys, so that's that. Moving on, lesson 28, solving percent problem. So it's just more of this practice, okay? If an item is discounted 20%, the sale price is what percent of the original price? So we're taking off 20%. What's left? Easy enough. 80% is what's left, okay? If you take off 20%, you had to pay 80%. If the original price of the item was $400, what was the dollar amount? Oop, nope, don't want to make it $4,000. That's expensive. So it was $400, okay? And that was 100%. And they took off 20%. So just like we did with Mrs. Bennett up there, we're going to get down to the 20%. So divide by 5. And then divide this by 5. And that would be $90. Pretty sure. It should be $80 actually. 400 divided by 5 is $80. So don't be wrong, Michelle Allhorn. Dimitri will tell you. $80. So she saved $80. So then how much did she pay? So she paid 400 minus 80. And I know that you could probably do this in your head, but I'm just showing you. So 400 minus 80, that's 0. 40 minus 8 is 32. So she paid $320. Boom, easy enough. How much is the sale price? So the sale price is $320. Okay, so she paid $320. She saved $80. The original price was $40, and it was 20% off. All right, moving on. Now this is kind of that problem, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those problems. We're going to do 3 of them right now. So we'll do one of each kind. So we'll start with the television. We're going to do this one in black. So the original price was, we don't know how much. So 100% is unknown, and we need to figure that out. We know that we're just going to assume it's the same person. So she paid $800. Okay. How much of it was the discount? So they saved 20%. Okay. So $800 was 80%. So it's saying it's the sale price. So that's what did you pay at the very end. They saved 20%. Okay. So how much of a discount did they get? So 80% is 800. Well, I can see that 80% 800. I could take that down to even 10%, and that would be 100. So this one was very easy. So that means that the total price was 1,000 to start off with. So the original price was 1,000. The amount of discount was 200. And percent paid was 80%. Now, this is going to be pretty easy. So we can just go ahead and go do all of these right now, because that's actually very simple. So if you saved 25%, what's left? 75%. If you paid 90%, how much did you save? 10%. If you saved 40%, how much did you pay? 60%. If you paid 80, you saved 20. And we will do this last one down here. We don't know, so we're actually going to have to do the math to figure it out. Okay? So let's go ahead and say that we are going to do this one. And for the sake of room, we're going to get rid of all of this. Okay, so we are in red. So the original price was $80. So 100% was equal to $80. Boom, easy peasy. They saved 25%. So they ended up paying 75%. So let's see what 25% is. So how do we get from here to here? We divide by 4. It's a benchmark percent. So divide this by 4. 80 divided by 4 would be 20. So they saved $20. And remember, this is dollars. And so then if they saved 20 and the original was 80, how much did they pay? They paid 60. Easy enough. Okay, we are going to skip video games. You have to do video games. We're going to skip the MP3 player and the book. We're going to do the snack bar together. So let me get rid of this just for clearness. Boom. All right. So it has decimals, which is why it's going to be a little bit hard, but you can use this for the MP3 player. So the sale price was $1.70. Okay. So they saved, or so they ended up paying $1.70. So they paid $1.70. They saved 30 cents. So the real thing is, if they paid $1.70 and they saved 30 cents, then they should have spent $2 if it wasn't on sale. So that's equal to 100%. Right? Okay. Well, then what we can do from here is figure out 50% and kind of estimate from here. I know that if they give you the percent first, it's the hardest part. That would have been $1. See how if 100% was $2, then it would have been $1 for 50%. So they paid over 50%. They paid over 50% here. They saved less than 50% here. So let's go ahead and figure that out. So let's cut it in half again. 25% is half of 50%, would have been 50 cents. So that's even less than that. So let's go ahead and take this down to 5%. 5%. So you divide it by 5 on both sides. Divide by 5 would have been 10%. Okay. And then what we can do is we can take this up to here. So how do you get from 10 cents to 30 cents? 10 cents to 30 cents is times 3. So they saved 15%. And if they saved 15%, then how much did they pay? They would have had to pay the rest. So 15 plus whatever this is has to equal 100%. So 15 cents plus 85% would have equaled 100%. So they percent paid was 85. Always put these little percents in here. So if we're working with money or percent, this was 15%, and the original was $2. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for now. You do the video games, MP3 player, and book. Those answers will be done tomorrow morning in the video. And try one of these, please. Only one of them. You don't have to do both. But if you can do both, that's fine. And awesome. Send me those pictures. Bye, guys.